Hey guys, welcome to your Michigan Compass. It's a beautiful day, the winter's finally broken, the snow is melting, and it's time for another trip out to the Air Zoo. Now, if you've been watching our videos, you'll know we were here about a year ago, 363 days ago to be exact. So today we're back. We're going to see some of those things that we missed out on last year, including the Space Droid exhibit, so come along with us.
The winding entranceway has walls covered in clouds, making it feel as if you're flying into the hangar. We're greeted at the entrance with a couple of bi-wing planes. If you look to the right, you'll find all of the newer planes. And over to the left, it's the beginning of aviation history.
If you saw our last video that took place about a year ago, most of these rides were open and running. That was prior to the changes due to COVID. I will be sure to put a link at the end of this one so you can watch that video from last year. Back over there, the Ferris wheel. A couple more planes this way. And just over here, a few more rides. Looks like this one's been dismantled. Not sure what the reasoning is. I do know it wasn't running the last time we were in. Maybe they're taking this downtime to fix it or replace it with a new ride. And then over back in the corner is that free fall type ride for kids.
The Air Zoo's website had advertised February as Panels Off Month, meaning that you could see some of the things you can't usually see on the planes. But so far, I haven't seen many panels off.
When we were here a year ago, it was the very first time that the cockpit of the SR-71 Blackbird was open to the public.
And speaking of the SR-71, here it is, and the staircase appears to be in place, so let's head up and take a look.
There you can see the SR-71 Blackbird, very big plane. Very fast plane. Still the fastest plane the military's ever built, and undefeated. Why? Because it can outrun bullets. That's right. This plane is faster than any bullet and was never hit by enemy fire. This particular model is the B, SR-71B, is a training plane. And you'll notice the extra hump here. That's for the pilot to train.
While the cockpit on the SR-71 wasn't open, we did get an excellent view of all the planes in this room.
Over in this glass case, we have a model of the SR-71 Blackbird. This area features various motion simulators that you would typically be able to ride. And inside you'll find some controls just like that. You can see them on that blue one way back in the distance there. But those controls allow you to pilot an aircraft, whether it's a helicopter, maybe a F-14, maybe even the Blackbird, who knows? But it's a flight sim with full motion, unfortunately now closed. They have several of these hands-on stations for kids to learn about various things. Those balls aren't levitating, they're being held in place with a burst, a stream of air coming out of that sphere. Let's see if we can set one more. Isn't that amazing? Oh, we lost one. Still a very cool thing. That red one's just bouncing up and down. All right, so this is what we came to see. It's alien worlds and androids. And if you remember from our video from a year ago, we came to this, but it wasn't open yet, so all we could do is peek around the corner. Over here we have Gort from The Day the Earth Stood Still. And you probably can't tell from this video, but he's pretty tall. I only come up to his chest. So he's probably about 8 or 9 feet tall there. Over on the other side, everybody's favorite robot, we have Robbie the Robot. He was in the film Forbidden Planet. All right, let's head on into Alien Worlds and Androids. This area says explore the solar system. If you're a fan of space travel, science fiction, or anything like that, you may have heard of Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. These were satellites sent out to collect data about our solar system. I just learned something new. Back in 2014, Voyager 1 was the first spacecraft to travel beyond our solar system. This section says microbiomes. And over here, they're talking about, wouldn't you know it, viruses and how they affect our DNA and the possibility of a virus from space that could do something like this or mutate our genes. We all know the alien from the movie Aliens, Sigourney Weaver.
Throughout the exhibit, there are several interactive displays, starting with this one, which will show you where microbes might be located in our bodies, what type of microbe it is, and where you would find it. Throughout the years, science fiction has actually inspired many of the real-life creations, such as the Mars Rover.
This one is very true. If you've ever seen an episode of the original Star Trek, those communicators that they used inspired some of the cell phones we used in the early 2000s.
The touchscreen displays that you use on your cell phone or your tablet were inspired by shows like Star Trek.
This section over here is looking for life in space. We've got several different interactive displays. Right there is an expanded view of our solar system, just to give you an idea. In case you weren't aware, we are third rock from the sun. No reference to the TV show, just we are the third planet from the sun there.
And in case you were unaware, Pluto is no longer classified as a planet. Many of the kiosks throughout the exhibit feature videos by top scientists from places like NASA.
Over here we have a robotic arm. Looks like you can control it. Let's give it a shot. Maybe, just maybe, we can get that cylinder. There we go.
This is actually much harder than it looks. Many of the objects inside this area really can't be reached by the robotic arm because of the limitations of its range.
And we did it, we moved it.
Heading over to the Artificial Intelligence and Robots area. In the video below, NASA scientists work on Robonaut 2, an actual robot that was taken to the International Space Station back in 2011. Now these are the droids you're looking for. Now this plaque does not mention it, but if I recall correctly, the Robonaut 2 was taken to the International Space Station by one of the last space shuttle flights.
Over here, a couple more androids. I'm sure you know these two. It's BB-8 and R2-D2. Hey, R2. What's that? Oh, remind them how to... What? Oh, definitely. Yeah. Oh, so R2 wants me to remind you, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Over here we have a replica of the Mars rover. And that big solar panel on the top is how it gets its power. Right over here we have a full-scale model of one of the wheels from the Curiosity rover. I know we looked at the little model over there. This leads me to believe it's probably a lot bigger than that model. So they have this enclosure where you can watch a simulation while you're seated here, and the seats vibrate and give you the feeling that you're actually on the spacecraft landing on Mars. And finally, Iron Man is here. And my guess is that's because Iron Man, his suits are actually sentient and run by AI, so technically they are robots. Upon exiting the special Android and alien area, we're greeted with a Lunar Lander, as well as a J2 rocket engine. This engine's pretty big. Right there is eye level. It gets me every single time going inside of here just to see the perspective up close of how big this would be. See that big U? And over here, part of an S. Just to give you a reference for size, there's the U and there's the S. So you can see how big that actually is. And about how big around it is too. It is gigantic. Now to put this all in reference, Saturn V was 363 feet tall, 60 feet taller than the Statue of Liberty. And this is only a very small, very, very small replica of a section, just to give you an idea of the size. Now, one other thing I want to point out, this section of the rocket right here with these 4 boosters, now mind you, that's not the bottom. Those 4 boosters on stage 2 are known as J2 rocket engines. That is that engine right there, believe it or not. Those are the small ones. This is one of the space shuttle tires, and it's higher than my waistline, so it's pretty good sized tire. Looks like we've got another one here. Over here, a replica of the launching pad. And then over in this glass display case, we have an actual space suit that may or may not have been used back in the early 2000s, or late 90s. So just a short distance from the main building of the Air Zoo is the Flight Discovery Center, located right next to the Kalamazoo Airport. And over here they have an F-17 we're gonna go check out inside. I've never been in this building. You can either walk over here or you can drive. It's a very short drive, like less than a minute, or maybe a 3-minute walk tops.
This is the plane that was just landing. That's where all that noise was coming from. This old Air Force plane parked just behind the Flight Discovery Center. And just inside the doors, we've got a few engines and a couple of models. Over here, a very large jet engine. And just behind this jet engine, we have a cockpit from one of the planes. There's quite a few planes suspended from the ceiling above. Over here, another old bi-wing plane, Waldo Wright's Flying Service. And here's one from the Air Force. This one has a very long nose. Let's look at it from the very front.
Over here, one of the Blue Angels planes, F117 Tiger.
If you've never seen the Blue Angels in action, start looking for an air show where they might be performing, because it is not to be missed.
Well, apparently this is the F117. What I was unaware of is that it is definitely under refurbishment. Looks like it needs a lot of work and a lot of repainting.
After this recording, I talked to one of the people up front in the museum. They informed me that a lot of the plane is actually classified and cannot be given to the museum.
Over here, the back side of the F117.
In this particular case, all of the edges of the plane, all 407 feet of those edges, as well as the paint, were considered classified due to the F117's stealth capability. In addition, they told me that one of the pilots that actually flew this particular plane had been here recently to see it. The inside of the bomb bay doors were signed by all of the people who actually flew or worked on this plane. Towards the front of the plane, you can see how they're using cardboard to try and recreate those edges. But don't worry, because when they're done, it will look just like it used to look. And they already have plans to pull it out in the summertime and paint it black. The F117 Nighthawk was retired in 2008, but a portion of the fleet has been maintained and has even been seen flying in 2020.
You may be wondering, am I in a black hole? What is this? It might even sound funny. It sounds a little funny to me. But we're actually standing under one of the rocket engine boosters. This is the big one. This is the one that was at the bottom of the rocket here that we saw earlier. And just to give you a reference for size, it's very big.
The ceiling is about 40 to 50 feet high. And look what happens when I put my hand up here so you can see the actual size.
Well guys, that's going to do it for our trip to the Air Zoo today. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to click on that compass so you can stay subscribed to future episodes. We'll see you next time. Remember, adventure's just a short drive away.